Guys of a Certain Age is brought to you by no one. Absolutely no one. Except these dudes walking down memory lane. Now let's head to the studio to see what they misremember next.
It's the podcast that zombies or a virus can't kill. It's Guys of a Certain Age. Robbie Koblentz in studio alongside
Art Shirley
and Jay Reed
and special guest
Jonah Holland.
Hello, Jonah.
Howdy. How's it going?
We're doing well. We'll hear more from Jonah in the back end of the show, but he's going to be like a Greek chorus, I think, today.
A geek chorus, if
a
you
geek
will.
chorus. I should have come up with
that. I thought you had it all there.
Man, a geek chorus. He will chime in as we go along. So we got a jam-packed full show. First that we've all been in here, plus one. Let's jump into some Geeks of the Week. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Boy, that's just keeps on. It's a gift that keeps on giving.
I'm going to mention Jim Shooter, first of all, Marvel editor extraordinaire, passed away recently, behind a lot of stuff. Too much to mention. Google him, look him up.
He is responsible for Secret Wars.
Secret Wars, Valiant, didn't you say?
Yeah, Valiant.
But he also was an editor, and they said he did a lot for the artist, to make sure that the artists were able to keep, rights and get better deals, freelancers especially. So we talked about this. He was a divisive character. He was very much someone who stood up for, what he believed and didn't mind if that rubbed you the wrong way. But I think I've seen a lot of artists pay tribute to him, and even if they didn't always agree with him, they respected him a lot.
Absolutely.
So anyway, Jim Shooter passed away. Rest in peace, Jim Shooter.
So he did an unsolicited pitch for a story to DC at age 13.
Yeah, as he points to Jonah, who's a little older than age 13.
Yeah, a little older, but he's much closer to 13 than the rest of us in age. Yeah. And so he sends it in with pencils, with script, and they bought it and they hired him.
Yeah, like
13.
a Superboy or Superman
something
one.
like
I can't remember.
that.
Yeah.
So he worked on Supergirl, Superboy at 13, drawing comic books.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
That's very crazy.
So he was an artist. I didn't see.
He
that.
was more of a writer, but he drew some too. But most of the stuff he did, he wrote, and then he became an editor, and also became whatever the guy that manages the bullpen from Marvel. That's
Think he was the Kevin Feige of Marvel.
Yeah,
comics.
that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
He
oversaw the production of all the comics.
So he came up with, was it Shooter or Starlin who came up with the new universe?
I think that was Starlin. It's not Kirby that you're thinking about. The new gods.
New universe, which was Starlin.
Starlin is the one that had a real big tribute to him.
Yeah,
sounds good.
All right.
The other Geek of the Week I have is Amazon has made an announcement as to who their director for the upcoming James Bond movie or series, whatever it's going to be at this point. Denis Villeneuve of Dune and Blade Runner fame. And what else did he do?
What else? He did Sicario? Yeah.
Sicario?
Yeah.
Okay.
And what else did he do? Jonah, if you're going to nudge, you got to talk.
Sicario and Dune are my only ones that I've seen of his.
Oh, you need to see Blade Runner 2049. That's good.
Oh, I know. It's been on my list for a long time.
It's really good.
Let's see.
It's not as good as the original one, but it is really good.
Arrival?
Yeah. I knew there was something else that was kind
great.
of
Arrival was really, really good. Hold on, let me get to his filmography.
While you're doing that, I'll say that the direction that he's given so far as to who they're looking for James Bond, Henry Cavill has been in the running for a while. Aaron Taylor Johnson has been. But no, he wants to go with somebody much younger. It's going to be a younger Bond. And Tom Holland of Spider-Man fame is one of the leading people in that.
Who is English.
Interesting.
Yeah, which is, I forget. Yeah. So I don't know that I care for that. In fact, I know that I don't, but
I mean, even for me, as like a younger Bond fan who watches a lot of movies that Tom Holland has been in, that makes me very scared.
What was it? Was it Uncharted?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. His performance in Uncharted was a huge, huge letdown for me as a huge Uncharted fan, and that's a good pivot to The Last of Us later.
Yeah.
Wait. Jonah's spoken more than Jay has already.
22.
That's in my contract.
Jay's too polite. Jay won't, just like he's waiting his turn.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
So anyway, I'll cede the floor to
you. You yield the remainder of your time to the gentleman from
the representative from Belmont.
The gentleman from Belmont.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. We'll talk
Mr.
now.
Reed, you have the floor.
So mine's a quick one. As this airs,
It's the ghost of
this
Strom
is why I don't
Thurmond.
need to talk, because when they actually seed the floor, they keep talking. You see this?
I say. Yeah, until you get on the floor, we're not going to let you speak, Mr. Reed.
Let's see, Strom Thurmond or
That was Foghorn Leghorn.
Foghorn Leghorn.
Stromhorn Leghorn.
They have the same voice.
I actually do. Boy, I say, boy. Something kind of about a boy that didn't like baseball. Okay.
All right.
Okay,
So by the
Jake.
time this airs, Superman movie will be out.
It may be,
Most
it may
likely.
be airing, but I mean, it may be on before we finish the show.
That's true. So it was.
Well, actually, I don't think that's correct.
See again.
I don't, because Superman's July 27, right?
No, it's
July
11th. It's a week from tomorrow.
Actually, this will drop the day Superman. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Perfect then. So Gunn has confirmed that he's got. It's kind of a, I guess a James Gunn Galaxy reunion sort of in Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Bradley Cooper, Michael Rooker, and Palm Clementif
Yes.
Uh-huh.
are all going to
Who's
have
Mantis?
at least have voice roles
Right.
in Superman.
You know-
I think it's the robots, but
Well,
two of
Bradley
them are
Cooper.
robots.
Bradley Cooper,
Is playing
Jor-El,
Oh, really?
the father
Yes.
of Kal-El.
Oh, okay. Have y'all talked about this already? Or you just
No.
know
No.
stuff.
No,
We just
know
know
stuff.
And somehow we managed to say it in sync. We're the Geek Chorus.
So anyway, this fun cameo. That's all. That's it. That's all I got.
That's all you can.
Wow.
Yep.
All that build up to, yeah. So
Is anybody going to see Superman next weekend?
I don't know when I'm going to see it, but I do want to see it in the theater.
yeah, I'm going to be in Indiana, so
Okay.
we will see it at some point. Jay and I saw F1,
Yeah.
which was unbelievable.
I went to see it on Tuesday. Really, really enjoyed it.
What
time?
What time Tuesday did you go?
The 5:45 show.
See, we were in the 6:30. Yeah,
we tried to beat the crowd.
yeah, we did beat the crowd.
Yeah.
Until we did.
But it was a pretty
Because
good
we
crowd.
saw you at, what did we go see? That we were,
Oh, that was what?
Thunderbolts.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's right.
Seen
Oh,
a
yeah,
lot.
yeah.
Gone to see a lot of movies recently, so they're all kind of blurring
Yeah.
together right now.
But F1's not blurring together.
No, because very, very much so recency bias. I'm a very new F1 fan. We just started watching the sport towards the beginning of this season, and
Drive
my wife
to
and I
Survive,
are loving
baby.
it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Big Oscar Piastri fan here.
So I like Oscar. I'm a big Max fan. You know who Gunther Steiner is, right?
I'm not familiar.
All right. Gunther Steiner was the former principal of Haas. Got fired a year ago. In F1, this is in the
Avocado. Sorry.
what?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
What?
The gentleman is having conversations as a sidebar.
I mean, to be fair, that joke works because Haas avocados roll just about as fast as a Haas F1 car. So
That's right.
Bada bing.
But they're better. They're better. Bada boom, bada bing. So in the movie, when Kevin Magnuson kind of pops there, Brad Pitt, and the principal of AGXGP, whatever, leans over on the pit wall and looks down at one of the principals, the guy with the pepper hair who basically says F you.
Yep.
That's Gunther Steiner, who is infamous for his language. And
So
his
that's what
liberty.
the F1 means.
Yeah, boy,
Okay.
more
F1,
than-
F them all. No, just kidding.
That's right. So
Sorry,
my
Mr.
story about Gunther is when Bonnie and I went out to see F1 in Las Vegas in the inaugural Las Vegas Grand Prix. We're walking on the floor of the Paris casino, and I literally walked right past Gunther. So I mean, like closer than me to the iPad here, which nobody can see. So
And did he cuss you out as if you were on the paddock?
no, not at all. Apparently, he's just the nicest guy in person. But
So this is how you feel, Jay.
well, okay. What's your geek, Jonah? I'll shut up.
All right, so my geek of the week, y'all bring me on to talk about The Last of Us, so I figured I'd deliver it twice. So my geek of the week is actually that Neil Druckmann, the co-director of The Last of Us TV show, as well as the co-creator, director, and writer of The Last of Us video games, just announced 2 days ago that he is
As we
leaving.
record.
As
Yes.
we are recording.
I saw that.
He announced that he is leaving the HBO TV show and
Wow.
leaving it just to Craig Mazin for the third season.
So the speculation has been, because this was going to be my Geek of the Week if you didn't bring it up, but I've got a backup. Speculation was because the ratings for season 2 have been half that of season 1, that maybe the powers that be at HBO Max wanted to make a little bit of a creative change. So
yes, that, and in a statement he did talk about how he is gearing up to fully give his attention to his upcoming video game project, Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet, which we don't know that much about at this stages, but it is gearing up to look like his next masterpiece. So we'll see what it all turns out to be.
Well, we said that about George R.R. Martin in the Winds of Winter or whatever, the final saga of a Game of Throne. No, it's a saga of ice and fire. It's what it is. Anyway,
some author recently took a shot at him about that.
Oh, who was that?
And you saw it. So that unlike George R. Martin, I'll finish my next book.
I forgot who it was. It could be Robert Jordan because he's dead.
Yeah.
Robert Jordan actually, left notes for his books after he died, Wheel of Time, which has been canceled at Amazon, by the way.
Yeah, it has been. Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway.
Speaking of Amazon.
Speaking of Amazon and canceling, thank you for that transition there, Mr. Shirley. So how many of you guys have used Freevee on Amazon, their free streaming service?
Tiny bit.
Raises his hand.
Tiny bit.
Yeah.
Not once.
You might want to get into it before August because they are sunsetting it very, very soon. So what they've done, Amazon has taken the content from Freevee, integrated it into Amazon Prime. Since Amazon Prime is now doing ads, the whole thing with Freevee was ad supported. You didn't have to pay for it. It was free viewing, Freevee, but no longer free.
And I just very rarely. I had the app, and then once they started pulling more stuff into Amazon, I didn't find myself going to the app to watch it anymore.
Do you remember when it was IMDb TV?
I do remember that.
It was IMDb TV in 2019. They bought it.
Yeah.
So
that wasn't the channel that Mark's stuff was on, was it? Making a Chef? Didn't he end up on one of those streaming services?
Well, he's on MSTV 30, and then he ended up on some. I can't
There was
remember.
something. There was one of those services.
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember. I've slept since then. So, but anyway, Freevee is going to be by V very soon. So bye V, I guess.
Bye V.
That's it. So, Jay, do you have any other geeks of the week you want to?
Actually, I saw that. I saw Jonah's and I saw Art's, and so I didn't see yours. Yours was fresh, but I did see the other two. I had them in my list as backups.
Mine is certified fresh. There's also a book prequel to the Superman movie that has dropped.
Oh, really?
That DC. I think it's a book. It's a book. It's a novelization, and it gives some of the background on how Clark Kent ends up at the Daily Planet. Lex Luthor apparently is Metropolis's beloved son, and the group with Hawkgirl and Green Lantern and Mr. Terrific are called the Justice Gang.
Yeah.
Guy Gardner's idea, not anybody else's. So I cannot wait to see Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner.
Oh, yeah. I think it's going to be good. I hope it's going to be good. It could easily go off the rails.
It could be, but with the bowl haircut, looks great. So, all right. Quick first segment because we've got Jonah here. We don't want to waste his time. We're going to talk Last of Us Season 2 and what everybody's mom thought about it. Up next. And Jonah Holland joins us in our amazing studio here. You promised a year and a half or so ago, Jonah, maybe 2 years ago, that when Last of Us Season 2 came out, you would come back and discuss it because I believe you said it's your favorite piece of creative work ever as far as the video game is concerned.
Guys, ever. Like with anything. Yeah, movies, TV.
That is correct. So I am making my hopefully triumphant return to Guys of a Certain Age to talk about the show adaptation of, as you said, is my favorite piece of creative media.
Buddy, there's nothing triumphant here, okay?
Well, there's nothing that triumphant about the second season of the show either. So we're
nice.
All right,
I was a little bit let down.
And that does it for us this week. Thanks for joining it. No. So, all right, let's do our little review around the table real quick before we get into Jonah's expert opinion. Art, you watched
I dropped out after the second episode.
Did you like season 1?
Yeah, I did like season 1 a lot. Okay. I did not like, even before, I guess, spoiler alerts, right?
Huge spoiler alerts because people die.
Yeah. Even after the events of episode 2, I mean, even before the events of episode 2 or the conclusion of episode 2 where Joel dies, I was already just not loving it. I thought Ellie's character was just so unpleasant.
Reminded me of my kids at that age.
Yeah. God, well, maybe that's true, but it's like, gosh, she was just putting people at risk unnecessarily, putting herself at risk. She felt like she was invulnerable. So yeah, I'd already kind of not been loving the show, and then after that, I thought, what the.
Very, very analogous to when Glenn got killed in
Yeah,
Walking
very
Dead.
much so. Yeah, not quite as unexpected to me. I mean, I just did not see Glenn dying, and of course he could see it himself when he turned his eye around. But
He was a man with vision.
yeah. But Joel, I think we kind of knew that was happening. So
Yeah.
anyway.
All right, Jay, did you like season 1?
I like season 1, despite the fact, just as a recap, I am not into zombie movies, and this has zombie, zombie adjacent, I guess. And so I didn't expect to like it, but the story, I got the story. So then season 2, I didn't actually. I planned to watch it eventually, but then I decided, okay, so last night, we went to movie Tuesday. Wednesday
He's pointing
night,
at me.
I came home and I'm like, Melissa, we're doing this podcast tomorrow. I'm gonna watch a couple episodes. Is that okay? So we watched the first one. She's like, well, we got to watch the second one. And we watched the second one, and then we got to watch the third one. And so after the third one, she fell asleep, and I watched 3 more.
Good grief! Did you really?
And then I got up this morning and watched the last 2. So I watched the whole season in the last 15, 16 hours.
That's why Jay
never
looks like
done before.
That's why Jay looks like a zombie right now.
Yeah. Well, I'm off. I'm off today. I'm off tomorrow. So I figured I'm kind of holiday-ish vibes, but not.
We're lucky he put on pants for this. Okay.
The second season I thought was vastly different
Yeah.
than the first season. It was more emotion, more character story, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I agree with you. The whole Ellie thing was like, are you really? I mean, come on. And when Joel died in that quickly, I'm like, well, what's left here?
Yeah.
And I guess the flashbacks and all, but it was exciting enough to keep me watching. I wouldn't have binged it if I didn't think it was interesting.
If you didn't have homework, you wouldn't have been.
Yeah, I mean, if I hadn't, it was. I don't think it was a waste of time to watch, but and of course I want to see season 3 now because of the last moment of season 2. But and I have my theories, but it was okay.
Yeah,
it was okay. Not as good as season 1, but good.
Well, I completely agree with you.
I think there was less infected and less of that in this season 2, so that may be why I enjoyed it too.
So I enjoyed season 1 a lot because of the world building, and I love seeing the blossoming of the relationship between Joel and Ellie. All right, so that worked out really, really well. And so when you don't have those two as foundations for season 2, I think they struggled somewhat narratively. And Ellie, like you guys have talked about, was just so unlikable for so many different reasons.
And this is the character, not the actor that's playing the part.
Not Bella Ramsey.
Yeah, she's great.
She
Absolutely.
is.
They're great.
Boy, she every scene in Game of Thrones she was in, she stole. So, but yeah, exactly. It just she pulled off the whiny little girl, teenage girl thing really, really well. So, Jonah, give us your 900-foot view, and then we're going to talk about what y'all's mama said about it.
Absolutely. So even though I said it wasn't the triumphant recreation of the video game, I still really, really enjoyed it. There are a lot of flaws with it and a lot of really disservices they did to the original source material.
Okay.
The biggest thing, I'll go ahead and go with the negative first. The biggest thing is Ellie as a character.
Really?
To me, Bella Ramsey knocked it out of the park in the first season.
Yeah.
That was Ellie Williams. That was that character. In season 2, we're 5 years ahead. She is a much different, much more mature character in the second video game.
Yeah.
All the other characters in this season, spot on. Ellie, it just seemed like she was a little bit behind, and that rubbed me the wrong way from the start. I still enjoyed her performance, but it was the biggest lack for me.
She was quite whiny. She just whined a little too much.
That's what I saw too. Is that she was not that character. And of course, people said they should have maybe cast a different actress to play a 5-year-old, 5 year older. But I don't think I think it has to do with the direction and the writing. I don't think it has anything to do with.
I agree. I feel
Bella
like
Ramsey.
She is an amazing actress, and I think she was fully capable of delivering just the perfect performance in that situation. I just don't think she had the proper writing support.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, I would concur with that.
So with the story, though, of the season 2 compared to the game, that's where I don't have any, background at all. So how did that click? How did that track?
So it is mostly accurate to the story of the game.
Even with Joel dying?
Yes, yes. So what's interesting to me is you look at The Last of Us 1 and The Last of Us first season. They tell the same exact story from start to finish. With The Last of Us, when it came out in 2013, everyone who played it thought, oh man, this would make a perfect movie one day. This would make a perfect show. We got it, and I think it did make for a perfect show. The Last of Us Part 2, the way you are driven through that story as a player, physically controlling the characters through that narrative, through the combat, through all that, it doesn't work quite as well in the structure of a TV show or movie because so much of it is driven by your own motivation and emotion as the player. The death of Joel is the biggest catalyst for that. You're out of control in that moment. You can't stop it from happening. Abby kills Joel, and you, the player, are feeling that same rage that Ellie is feeling in that moment. You've spent, at this point, first game and beginning of the second game, roughly 15 to 17 hours with Joel. Wow. You love him. Like, you have this deep connection with him and Ellie. You feel that rage yourself, and that's what drives you, the player, to help Ellie through this big cycle of revenge story that they're setting up.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but in the game, Tommy is more the protagonist who leaves to go, and Ellie and Dina follow Tommy, right?
Correct.
And so Tommy's more prominent. It seems like they took parts from Tommy's narrative arc and gave it to Ellie. Is that correct?
Just a little bit. They allowed Ellie to leave first. This does get into light spoiler territory for where they can go. Oh,
this is all spoilers.
No, you're talking about 3.
For season 3. Okay. We should see a little bit more about Tommy in season 3.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Also, in the video game, when Abby shows up to kill Joel, you have no idea what Abby's backstory is, correct?
Correct. And that is my point number 2 of the second biggest negative that I had with this season.
Look at there.
My number one question that I have for y'all as people who haven't played the game. That threw me for a loop that the show literally opens with us seeing Abby and all of her friends, and we get Abby's motivation. Mm-hmm. It's right there. They play the cards right in the beginning of the show. How did y'all react to that?
I didn't have a problem with it. I didn't have the emotional involvement, obviously, because I've just been a passive viewer of. We didn't see Abby at any point in the hospital in season 1, right?
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, because Joel kills everybody he sees in season 1 when he goes on his banger there. I would have liked to have seen. I didn't have a problem with it. I would have liked to have seen a glimpse of Abby in or around the hospital to have a little bit of a visual clue, and then them having the somber memorial service. We're going to go find the guys. Mm-hmm. I didn't understand there was a 5-year time jump.
Right.
That was a little. Of course, I didn't. I had it on in the background because I was doing other things. So, but I mean, I did not pick up. Did that funeral memorial service that happened right after Joel came through, and then we have the time jump?
That's the way I understood it.
I'm not entirely sure because they don't directly say.
And Abby does look like she's the same age, but then all of them really do. So
unlike Stranger Things.
Yeah, that's right. But who are supposed to be the same age.
Yeah.
But I thought it's in terms of storytelling and opening with that scene, I didn't have a problem with that. I did have like Robbie was saying, a disconnect, wondering who these people were at first, and then you kind of get who they are. But I think part of that was to help us feel a little bit of Abby's, rage against Joel. But it didn't quite. It wasn't enough for me to excuse Abby, especially after Joel saved her.
Absolutely.
So, Jay, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I didn't have the background. I went into season 2 thinking.
And you went right from one to the other. right? You went from season 1 to season 2?
No, I watched season 1 when it was on before.
Okay, so
but I hadn't watched anything since then. And so when I went into it last night, I was like, I know I'm not going to remember stuff.
Yeah, that's the same way I was.
I'm just going to dive in and enjoy what I can enjoy. So,
did you rewatch season 1?
I did not.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any concept of the whole Abby thing. Was she not even in season 1?
Correct.
Okay,
so we have no introduction to Abby in the first game or first season.
New character.
More or less a new story based on other characters from the first. Okay.
I would have preferred maybe to pick right up with Joel and Ellie 5 years later, jump into that, and then have Abby kill Joel.
Oh, flashback.
And then flashback. I think that might have been a better choice.
Well, I think it would have helped define, it would have given us a more immediacy on Abby's, why she felt that way.
Yeah.
And it would have been even more of a surprise, to see this. He just saved her. Why is he killing her? And boom, then you see, what's going on. Yeah, I think I agree with that.
And Abby's backstory in the game is identical to that in the show.
Correct. Except we don't see the little memorial service in the beginning of in the second game. That scene doesn't exist in the original.
That cutscene was cut.
Exactly. So we're introduced to Abby when Joel meets her.
Yeah. Okay. And did Joel save her in the same?
Yes. So that plays out very, very similarly. Joel saves Abby. They end up back in the little resort house. Yeah. And a lot of it does play out very, very similarly. The monologue is like 90% word accurate. Her golf swing equally as accurate.
Gosh.
Yeah, I didn't pay much. I had that like, oh, okay, we're actually going to mute this. I don't like hearing those squishy sounds like you're beating up a side of beef, and I thought that was a little too brutal.
Yeah.
It was rough. It was rough to see. But, they did carry out with a lot of accuracy of the visual from the game, which was equally difficult to see and experience 5 years ago. It's rough, but it definitely strikes that emotional chord for at least someone who played the games.
All right. So what's your next pet peeve, Jonah?
All right. So actually, those are my two biggest negatives. I think now it is great to actually focus on the positive of this season. As I said, I really enjoyed it, with Ellie being the biggest negative, Abby's motivations being the second biggest negative. The rest felt so spot on for me. Let me rewind. I do feel like there was a little bit of a lack of time that we got to spend with these characters once they got to Seattle. I loved the pacing and the time that they spent in the first couple episodes, but Ellie's time in Seattle is so crucial to that story, and it did start to feel rushed as we got on. But the way the characters interact with each other, it just their chemistry felt spot on, felt great. I love the way that they gave Jesse the spotlight towards the second half of the season. Really great character, come to love him. Actually, the whole scene with Tommy kind of defending the town, that was original to the TV show.
Okay.
So that big, to me, that almost felt like a season or series finale, like that kind of energy, like big Game of Thrones, like big budget set piece. All of that was original.
That's what they said. And it got the White Walker fight they've always wanted.
Exactly.
So, a question. In Cheyenne, they strike this pipe, and in this pipe we see roots.
Cheyenne.
Wasn't it Cheyenne? No, Jackson Hole.
Jackson Hole.
Yeah, Jackson Hole. It's all the same. It's Wyoming, Anyway, I got the right state. Okay.
We'll hear from Jackson Hole now.
Yeah,
Cheyenne.
That'd be great.
Maybe I missed a scene in midnight last night.
What's that?
I might have missed a scene at midnight when I was tired.
Yeah, you didn't. Not just. Yeah, Melissa fell asleep. So they're doing their renovation, building houses, and they strike the pipe, and there's roots in the pipe, and you see the little virus thing.
Cordyceps.
Yeah, that. So is that how it got into Jackson Hole, or did they just? I didn't understand it. Did they brute the beast? They brute force through the walls, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So they brute force through the walls. They broke them down, but they knew that's where they wanted to go because of the cordyceps that were growing through.
That's how they found them. Okay, I was wondering that. To me, it just kind of looked like they abandoned that part of it. Well, they found this cordyceps and they dealt with it twice, but then like it just kind of got forgotten in the stories. What it seemed like to me.
To me, that was kind of it. I mean, I would think, if you see any roots, you burn them immediately.
You would think.
You would think. I mean, we're 20 years into this. Have you not learned anything?
Yeah.
So, all right. So, how did you talk about the pacing? I mean, this is general. Mm-hmm. I felt like it drug at some points. Seattle felt very game-like, especially some of the hero shots of Abby looking up at Seattle and rain and all that. Did you guys like the pacing of the story?
First 2 episodes were okay.
I forgot. Yeah, you bailed out after you bailed out after Joel did.
Yeah, that's right.
So
I thought it was kind of up and down. I mean, there were some scenes that I thought were just a little bit too much emotion and like I'm more of an action person when it comes to this kind of story. Not that I want a good story, I want a good relationship issue, things, but I think there were just some scenes that did not advance the story.
Yeah.
Joel, talk about the cult.
Jonah. Somebody got a golf club. Jonah, talk about the cult, because it seemed to come out of nowhere.
Yes, so it was so fascinating to me the way that they introduced the Seraphites, one of the coolest parts of The Last of Us Part 2. They are this religious cult that live in and around the Seattle area and are in a major war with the WLF.
They're Amish with arrows is what I call them. Amish with arrows.
That are very, very good at whistling. So it was interesting to me because they got introduced much, much earlier in the TV show than they are in the game. And when you first experience them in the game, it is genuinely terrifying because you don't see them. You just hear those whistles. It is horrifying.
Just like the Vandy Whistler. Oh, gosh. He's a Seraphite. That's it. Oh, no, you said they're really good at whistling. Never mind.
So the Seraphites and the WLF, to me, are one of the more interesting parts of the Last of Us world, and it's something that I really wish we could have seen more of in this show. Honestly, I would take an entire movie or series that just focuses on them and their conflict. And again, light spoiler for what we might be getting to in Season 3, we should be seeing a lot more of the conflict between the Seraphites and the WLF.
And I want to get to that in a second. So let's rewind a little bit. And Jay, Mrs. Reed has comments and questions.
Yeah, we were sitting around the house one day and she goes, I need something new to watch. What do you think about Last of Us? And I was like, you will not like it.
Yeah.
You should not watch it. But if you really are desperate for something to watch, then go for it. And then about 2 weeks later, she's like, I'm so aggravated at how they ended Season 2. I said, Season 2?
That's great.
So she finished it all very quickly. Didn't binge it quite as quickly as I did, but close. So these were her comments. Ask her.
Okay.
So she didn't think she would like it because of the gross virus. So we're very much alike in that way. But decided to watch a few episodes to see what it was about. Same. So far so good. Got into the actual story and the personalities. Couldn't stop watching. So I get that. Then she said every actor is perfect for his or her role. So I think you kind of affirmed that, John.
Wait, how would she know they're perfect? Has she played the video game? Is she holding out on us?
I don't want to know.
I hope Mrs. Reed is a gamer.
This is the funniest. And Pedro Pascal is not hard to watch for jillions of hours.
Gosh, that's why Becky. We stopped at Season 2. She said, "I'm done." And we knew he'd come back in flashbacks, but she had no desire to watch.
I'm about Pedro Pascal.
Me too.
Don't impeach Pedro. Don't vote for him. Impeach him.
I know he's fixing to come out in a big movie though. You got
Fantastic Four. We'll go see him in there. But he's and we like Pedro, but I mean he's been in just about everything.
Well, absolutely. He was good in The Materialists.
Yeah. The joke is that Galacticus watched. Galacticus watched. Gladiator 2 and saw Pedro Pascal in it. It's like, that's done. I've got to go wipe out Earth because I'm tired of watching Pedro Pascal. But what?
Anyway, that's all she said. What about your mom?
So my mom loved the first season, and then she called me the day after she watched episode 2, and she said, well, I'm not going to watch any more of it. My crush on Pedro Pascal kind of wore out when he died, and it's done. It's gone. Could not convince her to continue watching.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm more shocked than anybody that my mom finished it out. Finished season 1.
Or that she has the hots for Pedro Pascal.
That doesn't shock me.
Interesting. Very, very interesting that your mom's, of course, Jonah, your mom is more our age.
I was going to say, I think
Actually, a little bit older.
Is she? I think your mom is my age, though, right?
Can't be older than ours.
Just a little bit older.
You sure? I thought she was younger. But anyway,
Okay.
Yeah. 63?
68.
Okay, yeah, she is a little bit older. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew we were close, though.
Yeah.
So very much more contemporaries.
Yeah. So interesting that she got into it up until, episode 2. And really interesting that your mom watched the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah.
Baffling.
The things you find out about your parents the older you get.
Yeah, see, I haven't even really. This is all I know about it because she didn't spoil it for me, and I didn't have it. Didn't tell her that I'd binged it yet.
Yeah,
so.
unless they put it on
Never had time.
CNN, my mom's not going to see it.
At least it's CNN.
Or CBS or CBS.
At least it's not.
Yeah.
At least it's not Fox.
Yeah,
So,
no.
yeah. Well, so let me ask you a couple questions about a proposed season 3. Season 3 has been greenlit, correct?
Yes.
And Pedro Pascal is done. He had his rap on the show. I saw that rap. That was a nice little rap. I think the last thing he shot was in the Science Center.
Yes. The flashback episode, which was just perfection as a fan.
That was basically all cutscenes.
Exactly.
Right? And I read something where if you're playing through the Science Center part, it would take you upwards of an hour and a half to play through the Science Center.
Absolutely. So all of the childhood flashbacks from Joel's perspective, that was fresh for the TV show, but the majority that was in that episode were cut scenes or sometimes playable scenes in the game that would last anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour each.
Yeah.
So are there the 2 parts of the game, right? Are there a third part now?
So just 2.
Okay,
2.
so season 3 is coming from the second part of part 2, or a different.
Correct.
So that was my question. So at the end of season 2, you've got Abby. She's shooting somebody. We don't know who. We think we know who she's shooting, but Ellie looks on and screams, and then it does a reset to Seattle Day 1, which is in whatever.
From Abby's perspective in the stadium there.
Yeah, which is in the Seahawks Stadium, whatever it's called now. And so that takes place 3 days before the confrontation of Abby and Ellie and Tommy and other dude.
Correct. Jesse.
Jesse.
Correct. So the entire story of The Last of Us Part 2 can be broken down into the 3 days of Seattle. You have your prologue, the 3 days of Seattle, and then the epilogue is what follows. We have now experienced Ellie's 3 days of Seattle, and just like in the game, that whole entire ending sequence was shot for shot, word for word, just like the video game.
Yeah.
Jesse gets shot. They run in, Jesse gets shot. They have the little conflict with Tommy. Tommy also gets shot, but appears as if he might be okay.
That's
Abby,
a spoiler. We don't know that Tommy got shot from the TV show.
No, he
was lying on the ground,
but we never saw him get shot.
It's okay. Go ahead.
Rewind the tape. Maybe don't put that in for the
Don't worry.
That is my bad.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
We won't remember.
He is obviously harmed and on the floor.
He's on the floor and not talking. Yeah.
Also,
He's fallen and he can't get up.
Exactly, but Life Alert kind of ran out a few years before the Last of Us. Also, just quick grain of salt. It was 5 years ago that I played this video game, so some things kind of a little bit hazy. But so we
welcome to our world. It gets worse.
Well, I'm a good guest for the podcast,
it was
right?
5 hours that Jay finished watching the show. So.
So we see that Tommy is injured. Abby then points the gun at Ellie. You hear a gunshot, cuts to black. We then see Seattle Day 1 beginning from Abby's perspective.
And you're playing as Abby at that point.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that is where a lot of players in the video game actually quit playing.
Okay.
Because you're now having to play the entire story of The Last of Us Part 2 that you've experienced from another perspective.
Wow.
So again, light spoiler for the video game and what we see in season 3. You then spend the next 10 hours of the video game experiencing those 3 days from Abby's perspective.
Same stuff that you've seen already, but from Abby's perspective.
Well,
Same timeline, but you're seeing more from the WLF because she is a wolf.
Yeah.
Because we don't see Abby at all until the end. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, very, very interesting.
So what was the reception to the second part of the game?
It is one of the most divisive video games ever made. And so I frankly have to be very careful who I am talking around when I say that it's my favorite video game. There is
the Seraphites are coming after you. So.
They might be. Or the Wolves. Or the Wolves. Or the last two Fireflies. I mean, who knows? Who knows?
They went into space with Nathan Fillion.
So with The Last of Us Part 2, it was a very, very divisive game. I loved it as just a huge fan of The Last of Us 1. I loved what they did with the whole cycle of revenge story and driving you through Ellie's experiences. There are a lot of players who were very vocal about not liking that direction and feeling like it disrespected Joel's legacy and that character, and they just didn't continue on with it. But a big proponent of that is, unfortunately, about a week before The Last of Us Part 2 came out in 2020, hackers got a hold of early builds of the game, cutscenes, scripts, and it was all leaked publicly. So Joel's death was public info a week before the game came out. I deleted Twitter, deleted Instagram, literally went on media blackout the second I heard it got leaked, and I almost threw my phone in the trash until the game came out. So I luckily avoided it.
Yeah, that's hardcore. That's really hardcore.
Oh, yeah. I mean, hey, The Last of Us is one of those things that I take very seriously. Anything that Druckmann writes or that's a video game worked on by Naughty Dog, that's my cup of tea. So I'll go through those extremes. But as I said, very divisive game, but critically, it was just appraised universally, like one of the highest rated games of that generation, and just praised for its writing, so on and so forth.
How did you feel when you had to all of a sudden start playing as Abby?
Oh, I was... Sorry, almost said a bad word there. Not sure if that's allowed on this podcast. I was very angry.
Only if Jay says it. Yeah.
So the thing is it does elicit that just confusion and anger out of you when you're switching to that perspective. You're like, oh, this is interesting. Like okay, we hate Abby, but we're gonna see how it goes. And then you start to get pulled through and start to experience some of that time. And everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I don't want to, spoil what your feelings may be by the end of season 3. I love Abby and those characters that they kind of build, like her friends that we're seeing Ellie murder through this entire season. Once you have that perspective of Abby's 3 days in Seattle, it is a completely different experience seeing those stories, seeing those characters.
And I want to say there's a Stephen King book where he does that. Maybe it's The Stand, where you read several chapters as one thing, and then you go back and you pick it up from the perspective of another character, and your first thought is, we gotta live this all over again, but it works real well.
You played it on a PS3?
PS4 originally.
You play So I'm looking at sales records. So when Last of Us originally released, the PS3 release sold 6 million copies. The remastered, which is probably what you played on PS4, unless you played it in a PS4 emulator on a PS3.
No, sorry. The Last of Us 1, the original game, I played on PS3, and then also the remaster, but The Last of Us Part 2 originally came out on PS4.
Yeah, I'm going back to the original. I'm looking at sale. Bottom line is the franchise has sold over 37 million copies as of January of 2023. Okay, 37 million copies. And it's...
When did this season of the TV show come out?
Back in February?
No, sorry, season 1. When did season 1 come out?
2 years ago?
2 years ago.
Yeah, just about 2 years ago.
So
2003.
I wonder if those 2023 sales numbers reflect more sales because of the TV show.
There was a pretty big bump. And then they also released a remaster of The Last of Us Part 2 for PS5 right before, or within the last year or so, in preparation for season 2.
So have you played both games multiple times?
Yes, okay. Front to back. I actually just finished a second playthrough of the original game recently.
So I'm curious about the final scene, because in I don't want to over spoil anything.
Well, hold on. Let's just say the thing is grossed probably over $40 million.
Oh yeah!
Wow, good grief!
Yeah, $40 million.
Video games is one of the highest profiting entertainment industries there is.
Yeah, just crazy. Anyway, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I was just because we were talking about the structure of the game. So the last thing we saw was this: Abby pointed a gun at Ellie. There's a gunshot. We don't know. I have my theories, but we don't know. Obviously, and I don't necessarily want you to tell us, but
no.
But do you know? Do you know? It's revealed in the game.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It was a few years ago. The memory's kind of hazy.
Okay.
Well, you could be like Jay. You can remember things that didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
Happen.
So once you play through at Abby, I'm assuming you end up at that same scene at the end.
I mean, do you want me to directly say?
I don't want you to tell me what happens, but I'm just saying the 3 days of Seattle, do you end up at the same place?
Yes.
And then the epilogue, you think season 3 of the TV show, we'll see what happens, but we may not see it till the end, I guess.
Yeah, so I won't spoil anything directly, but yeah, so we experience Abby's 3 days of Seattle, which leads directly into that scene, except it doesn't cut to black. We see exactly how that scene plays out. And then again, not to spoil anything else, there is a little something that happens after that, and there is enough additional story they could make an entire 4th season.
Wow.
I don't think they should, but
I think that's where they're going to do. I mean, they've already done it with Game of Thrones, and we got some notes, and let's figure out. Now, Jeffrey Wright plays Isaac in season 2.
And so his geek score, his geek index went up.
But he also voiced that character in the video game, correct?
That is correct.
So he played himself, essentially. He reprised. Do you think we're going to see more of Isaac in season 3?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
I by how much of a spotlight they put on Isaac as a character in this season, which we don't see much of Isaac from Ellie's, or any of Isaac from Ellie's perspective. I think they're really setting it up for a higher emphasis in the 2nd season, as well as...
third season.
My apologies. See, I'm thinking like part 2 breaking into... Yeah, too many 1s, 2s, 3s.
And those always give us trouble, 1, 2, and 3.
Exactly. I mean, I just learned them, so I'm really struggling with it.
Jay does 1 a lot, but...
Yeah, we're going to see a lot more about Isaac in the next season, because it really is going to focus on the WLF and get really into that nitty gritty of what the war between them and the Seraphites look like, and it's not pretty.
Not to be confused with the WWF.
That's what I keep thinking.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Or the world, it's the West.
World Liberation Front.
Is it World Liberation Front?
Washington Liberation Front.
But there is a World Liberation Front.
Or is it International? ILF. I think
that's what it is.
Okay.
The actual organization that's in the world today is ILF.
We used to do a wrestling show for an IWF. So, Van, I'd like to buy a vowel, please. I thought bringing Jeffrey Wright, basically a actor of his caliber and budget, for just some tertiary scenes in season 2 felt a little wasteful if he was not going to be more spotlighted in a season 3.
I mean, by the story of the video game, it's very clear we're going to be seeing a lot more of him.
Okay.
I thought it really added a lot to it, the fact that it gave it some cred that he was there.
Yeah.
Once I figured out, I was like, okay, I know this guy, but it took me a
second. His Geek score.
It took me a second to figure out, that's Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah. I mean, he was the original GOCA index subject. So.
Yeah, well, when I figured out who he was, I'm like, oh, man.
And spokesperson for Uncle Nearest.
That's true. That is true. That is true.
Probably shouldn't talk about that on this podcast. Anyway. Final thoughts on Last of Us Season 2. I mean, from the non-geek chorus. I mean, we already know what Art thought. Jay, you enjoyed it?
Yeah.
Would you watch a Season 3?
Yeah, for sure. I've got to know what happens now.
Yeah.
And his mom's going to talk about it, so you got to...
Right.
I think that's awesome. I want to see if she's playing the game.
Yeah.
Oh, she doesn't play any games.
Yeah.
No. Well, she may have a game on her phone, but it's not.
Oh, her games are mind games. Those are the games she plays. In the words of Peter Gabriel, games without frontiers. So, anyway, Jonah, so you enjoyed season 2. You're waiting on season 3. Is the video game wrapped, or is there a possibility of a part 3? I mean, has there been any indication of a part 3?
There is indication of a part 3, but if it does happen, we're looking at it coming out in maybe 10, 12 years from now. We are a long way away, because their next project, Intergalactic, is going to be taking up several years of development.
Isn't that a Beastie Boy album?
Very close. And go watch the trailer. This is your homework for all of you non-gamers. Go watch the trailer for Intergalactic, and you're going to see a lot of inspirations drawn from media that y'all grew up with or enjoyed. It's really cool to see.
So you're saying he's ripped off Ready Player One?
That without all the gaming.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Check it out. Intergalactic?
Yes, Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophecy.
Okay.
Wow.
Heretic Prophet.
The Heretic Prophet. So, sounds like he ripped off Frank Herbert. Dune.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Everything's inspired by Dune.
Yeah, everything is. But no. I mean, Star Wars. I mean, Dune ripped off Star Wars. Don't you know that? No. Desert Planet.
John Carter of Mars, possibly, if we want to go back to,
I mean, that's
100 years ago.
The whole,
it's a running
the Leeson Al-Gaib is based off of the Sarlacc pit, right?
Yeah. I mean, we've had that running joke going for a while. So, okay, Jonah, thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening along. We'll see you next time around.